Alright, welcome back y'all. Today we're going to be talking about the Panasonic Lumix GH5 and my cinematic settings that I use for my workflow. By no means does this mean that you have to use the exact same settings. Just use it as a base and kind of variate the settings to whatever works best for your workflow. Now let's get into it. So after you turn your camera on, we're going to set it to the camera with the M next to it. We're going to set it to that. And this will be kind of like a blank slate for your cinematic settings for the camera. And we can do photography settings later. But what I'm going to do is assign this blank slate to the custom 1, custom 2, and the custom 3 settings. So to do that, we're going to go to the wrench, 4th item down, and custom set memory. And then we'll go ahead and save it to C1, yes. I'm going to choose no so I don't erase my settings. And we'll go ahead and do that for each one, C1, C2, and C3 one we'll go ahead and do. So after you save this profile to each one of those, and yes, it's the exact same profile, but we'll change it as we get there. We'll go back and we'll change this dial to C1 and start off with the first custom setting. So this one, we'll go ahead and start off from the top, my exposure mode, manual. That way you can still change the ISO settings, you can change everything, you can still have autofocus and everything still. This just lets you get into those settings and adjust them yourselves. Synchro scan, put that on, and this is actually very important. So the synchro scan lets us change the shutter angle by a degree, and so right now it'll be set at 180 when you get to it. Well, actually, before we get to synchro scan, let's go ahead and make sure that the angle option for the shutter speed is chosen. So we're going to go to shutter speed, gain, operation, and choose angle and not seconds. This will do the math for you. Anytime that you change the frames per second, it'll go ahead and change it, the shutter speed for you. So we'll go ahead and choose angle and then go back up to synchro scan and on, and it should be set to 180 degrees. And this is actually kind of like a bug in the system. The autofocus is not all that great right out of the box, but if you change this one little setting, it actually makes it a lot better. So if you just go down a degree to 179, I don't know what that is. It seems like it's a little bug, but I've seen multiple YouTube videos about this, and ever since I did this, the autofocus started working so much better. So we're going to go ahead and set that to 179 degrees. Alright, so that one's set. The angle, shutter speed is set. Vector scope and that stuff we'll leave off for now, but I'll show you what I do with that later. And pretty much all these I keep the same. So next item down, the camera, will go to record format, and I use the MP4 LPCM. And I mean, you could choose MOV as well, and I believe there's just as many options, but I use the MP4, it just works better for my workflow. So what I have this profile set as is 4K 10-bit 150 megabits per second and 24 frames per second. I just love that cinematic look. It looks really, really nice on these cameras. So that's the option that I have set right now for this one. And we'll go through a lot of those other options later. Continuous autofocus, I have mode 2, and that's continuous autofocus working all the time. Mode 1 is when you start recording, the autofocus will start, but we don't want that. We want it just right off the bat. As soon as you turn your camera on, the autofocus will be working. So we'll go ahead and keep that mode 2. Autofocus custom settings I have to set at +2, so the speed will react faster, and the sensitivity at 2 for more responsiveness. And these settings have worked great for me. I do a lot of concerts and some wedding videography, so it's pretty nice. Photo style I have to natural, and my sharpness I have down -3, noise reduction -3. I mean, if you have it at 0, there's still noise reduction added, so the least amount of noise reduction the better. I'll go ahead and do that. And then the hue I have set to 1. I noticed just skin tones are a little bit better when I add the +1. It kind of takes away that cold look. So awesome. So I have it natural, select that, and no filter settings. Luminous level I have all the way 0 to 1023. Metering mode I just leave the same. All these I don't really mess with. Let's see, the stabilizer, definitely want to have that on, at least the hand. It crops in, actually the hand doesn't crop in at all, but using the e-stabilization does. So you can have that on and off, and I have a function button set to turn that on and off whenever I need it. So I'll go through that later. Let's see what else. That's about it for those settings. As for these, I have the mic level display on, so that shows on the main screen. That way you can see if you're hot and you're blowing out your mic. The mic level limiter, this I keep on. Come to find that I was doing a lot of concerts and stuff, and I had that off, and even with an external mic at top, it would still distort quite a bit. And then I noticed once I had that on, like I could be right next to the band and the distortion would be very minimal. So that I just keep on now. The wind noise cancellation, I keep that off. Same with the lens noise cut. The lens that I have is not loud, so I don't really need that on. So sound output, I do record sound. That way I hear the sound that is going to be recorded instead of just the real time. So we'll go to the third item down, the custom wrench. And this one you can get into the exposure details. This one I changed to 1/3 increments. That way you just have more options to choose for the ISO. Extended ISO I have on, but you really shouldn't be pushing the ISO that far. Autofocus on for the autofocus exposure lock. And the shutter autofocus I have on for this one, so that way, you know, I turn my camera on, and as soon as I push the shutter button halfway, the autofocus starts. You can turn this off, but I noticed that with the GH5 at least, it works a little better when you kind of just get the focus start working before you start shooting. So I just leave that on. The half press release definitely off, because you don't want to push the button halfway and it take the photo or take the video. You want to push the button fully for it to go. So quick autofocus definitely on. That just helps it focus a little faster. So the eye sensor autofocus I have off, so that would mean you would have to look into the eye sensor to turn the autofocus on. So I turn that off. We want the autofocus working quickly as possible, pretty much. That's why I have the shutter autofocus on. So at least you know that once you hit that shutter, it's going to start autofocusing for you. All these I keep the same. Autofocus area display you want on. Alright, and the white balance ISO exposure button, I have it set to after pressing, so that way when I go and choose ISO, it pops up, but then if I hit the same button again, it'll go away. If I have that button while pressing, if I hit the ISO button and hold it down, I can change the settings. And then once I release, it'll go away. So it's really up to you what you prefer, but I have mine set at after pressing, so I can just hit that button again and it'll go away. Alright, so all these are pretty similar to how it came. Constant preview I have on. Peaking I have on. even though it does not show up in this mode for some reason. But histogram I have on, pretty much I have it on this corner of the screen at all times, that way I can see how my shot is looking. So guidelines I have to the thirds. The video guideline I have at 16:9. Center marker I have on to help center the shots. Zebra pattern, we'll get into that later. I like to use those, it kind of helps with the exposure, let you know if it's peaking or not. And yeah, I don't use the function button on my lens because sometimes if I'm using the auto zoom, I don't want to accidentally hit that function button and change something. I have plenty of function buttons on this camera, so I don't really need that extra one that's on the lens, and that really doesn't apply to y'all. This lens is no longer available anyway, so we'll go ahead and skip that. Even though there are function buttons on other lenses, I still choose not to use any on this one. So, and yeah, so for that C1, we're going to go ahead and save these settings. We'll go to that same wrench, choose custom setting memory, and go ahead and hit C1, and we're going to choose yes. So it'll save that setting to C1, and that is the 24 frames, 4K, natural picture profile, autofocus, everything is just ready to go. You can hit the quick menu button here, and it'll give you the aperture, and you can go through all the different settings that we just chose, really. And then you can even go choose the autofocus. You can choose all the different variations of the recording styles, and you can even change the picture profiles here too. So the quick settings menu is really awesome. Function button, and this wheel here actually is 4 different function buttons: up, right, down, and left. So I have those set to different functions. Even the return button you can set to a function. It has a function button here, up top, and up front. So quite a few customizable function buttons on this thing. So for the C1 function buttons, I'm going to go ahead and hold up, and it's going to bring up the options for that function button. And I have that one set for the waveform vector scope. And so whenever you hit up, after choosing that you want that option, hit up, and it'll bring up the waveform and the vector scope. And then you hit it one more time, and it goes away. So for the right button, I'm going to hold it down, and it's going to bring up the function button settings. This one I have to zoom control. Since I have auto zoom on this lens, I can actually control it through the function button. So I hit the right button, and instead of having to, move my hand in the moment and shake the camera, I can hit this button really easily and choose to zoom in, and then I can actually hit left and it'll zoom out. But then once those numbers go away, left will be whatever option you put on that function button. So it's kind of cool. Once you start the zoom process, you can kind of use this 2 different buttons to variate between the millimeters. Pretty awesome. So once that goes away, we'll go ahead and hold down for the next function button setting, and this one I have for the zebra patterns. I mentioned that earlier. Zebra patterns are a good way to see what's like overexposed in your shot. So if you have that on, you can hit down, and it'll give you the zebra option 1, which is 80%. And then zebra option 2, if you hit it again at 100%, that's if anything is showing the zebra lines, that's overexposed, and you don't want to use that. You want to bring your exposure down. So really awesome little feature to have. And then one more click turns it off. And I have the left button. If you hold it down, brings up your function button settings. I have that to the photo style, so I can quickly change my photo profile if I want to monochrome or whatever very quickly. And then yeah, you just go to whatever profile you want, hit set, and it's there, ready to go. Forgot to mention it, but the autofocus I have set to AFC, autofocus continuous. You don't want an autofocus single because that just focuses on one subject. Autofocus continuous just kind of uses a continuous autofocus. It's pretty awesome. So I just keep that set at continuous autofocus there. So my favorite one, the function button in the front, if you hit that, I have the E-stabilization. You can choose to toggle it on and off with that button. And I have it on right now, but if you hold it down again, if you hold the function button up here, down, it'll bring up the menu. It's pretty awesome that you don't have to go into the menu to assign all these function buttons, different things. You can just hold down the function button and it'll bring up everything that you can assign to it. So that one I have the E-stabilization, and that's it for C1. And make sure if you change any settings before you move on to any custom 1, custom 2, make sure to save it and do the custom set memory to whatever profile you're editing before you change the dial, because if you change the dial before you save, all those settings that you just changed will be gone. So when you save the custom 1, just save custom 2 and custom 3 again, and that way you can at least start with the basis of custom 1 and you don't have to change so many settings later on. Like the audio bar will still be there, everything will still be there, but you can more or less kind of change the frames per second and all that a little quicker, and you don't really have to worry about the autofocus and all that stuff. All right, so we're going to custom 2, and this one I have exposure mode pretty much the same, all this the same as the first one, as custom 1. So this one I have to 60 frames per second, 8-bit. So 60 frames per second is a little bit better for slowing down and slow motion shots. So I have that one set to C2, so it's a quick option to just get right to slow-mo. Being 60 frames per second, the shot will be a little darker. The faster the frames per second, the less light, because the shutter is going so much faster. And the slower the frames per second, the more light. So it's a lot easier to bring in the light the lower the frames per second. So you'll notice that the 24 frames per second will be a lot brighter, and then you look at the 60 frames per second, it'll be a lot darker. And then after you change that, pretty much that's the only difference of this profile, is the 60 frames per second. So I'll go ahead and just save that. After we save C2 with the 60 frames per second, we'll go to C3, and this one is awesome. It gives you the option to go to C3.1, C3.2, and C3.3. So you have 3 more options for custom settings to use. So we'll get into that. I usually put the photography setting at the last, so I know exactly where it's at. I don't need to worry about any other thing. If I need to take photos, I can go just to that. So this one I have set to use the entire sensor, which is also known as open gate. So yes, this camera has open gate, which is pretty awesome. It doesn't advertise it as such. It uses the anamorphic method. So this will be set to off whenever you have the camera into the mode that you just set. But we're going to turn that on, and we're going to go to, and you can go all the way up to 6K 30 frames per second in anamorphic mode, using the whole sensor. These are made for the anamorphic lenses, and then you can use the anamorphic de-squeeze to make it look normal on the screen here. I don't know if this is just something that got overlooked, but I think it's pretty amazing that you can use the whole sensor. So we're going to go ahead and change that to 24 frames per second, 4K, at 150 megabits per second. And we'll go ahead and keep all of this the same, keep the anamorphic de-squeeze off, and then we'll go ahead and go down, record format, MP4, it's not going to let you choose to change that because it's in anamorphic mode. So all these should be the same that you set before. Autofocus is everything and whatnot. Stabilizer, all this stuff should be the same. But you'll notice that the camera has more of a square look, and you can see the dotted lines where it would be 16 by 9. So this gives you a little bit more room at the top and bottom so that you can crop in and you can actually use this format for 16 by 9 or 9 by 16, which is TikTok or Instagram Reels. It gives you a lot more definition, so when you do crop in, it doesn't look as bad. So it's a pretty awesome option to use on the GH5. Pretty much just open gate. And for the photo style picture profile, I have actually set as Cinelike D. This one on the GH5 is the closest thing to like a log profile. Just gives you a little bit more dynamic range to mess with in post-production, like colorization and whatnot. So I just have that one set, and you can see my sharpness is at 2, noise reduction at 3, and I have the saturation at -3 as well. And again, all these function buttons are the same because we saved it from the original C1 setting and applied the C1 settings to C2 and C3 after we changed them. So all these, you can hit the waveform vector scope button and it'll be there. All these will be the same because you saved it after you changed the settings. It just really helps with the workflow, and you don't have to worry about 20 different function buttons. They'll all be the same for each custom setting to whatever you set them as. So it's pretty awesome. And that is pretty much the settings that I use for my cinematic video. If you'd like to know my settings for the photography, go ahead and leave that in the comments. What do you use to shoot? Tell me all about your settings. Do you use Sony? Do you use Canon? Do you use Nikon? Let me know. I'm trying to build this videography community with Vitality Productions. So if you're interested at all about cameras, music, photography, videography, film even, go ahead and like and subscribe, and make sure to stick around because there will be a lot more videos to watch. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, it really means a lot, and we'll see you soon.